I understand that the idea behind how drumming and treehouse building can be from the same muscle, from the whole sort of like play, dance, that kind of creativity. But how did you get there?
Typical dad, I built 3 tree houses for my 2 boys.
Lucky boys.
Elliot and Charlie, and they're both in the business now.
Oh,
so it's been a complete journey, and I'm really fortunate and lucky as a dad. But as a dad, I'm not a carpenter, I'm not a builder.
Okay.
I have no knowledge. Little more knowledge now, having done tree houses for 25 years, but that's not my instinct. But my instinct is as a dad. And as a dad, I went to the local timber store, came back with a load of timber, and set about creating a space for my 2 boys. And I had such fun doing that as a dad and creating. I'd spent a lot of time in theatre and in film. So I'd watched and learnt how theatre directors and the stagecraft staff create spaces. And they do that with sets, and they do it with light, and they do it with sound, and they create a magical space. So I guess that was my point of vision, not a sort of formal carpentry background. It was an imaginative, creative space. But I just free flowed with that, created some structures for my 2 boys to muck about in. And we did lots of mucking about. And that was at a time in my life when I was thinking about business. I was excited about becoming a business, perhaps being in a little bit more control of things that I've since learnt about marketing and cash flow and, all of those business structures. I, at that time, was in a successful place with my music, but forever, always just 2 weeks away from not working.
Yeah, not being paid.
It's a constant state, very exciting and exhilarating state, and it works for the music business. But I guess, again, because I had 2 boys, I just felt I wanted to take a different direction. And this all came together when friends and family started commenting very favourably about what I'd created for my 2 boys. And I thought, well, I've done that for my 2 boys. Maybe there's something that I can do for other families. And I was wandering around, really bored at the Ideal Home Show.
Oh, well, okay.
One year. And bored, the mind wanders, and a little bit like a cartoon, a little bubble thing came out of my head. And it just recognised that there was nobody there. This is 25 years ago. There was nobody there selling tree houses. And I thought, my God, perhaps I could be here selling tree houses.
Wow.
It was one of those moments. And so I promised to myself that I'd be back the following year with a stand. And as always, true to promise, I was back the following year with a stand. The smallest, cheapest stand right out the back, just toe in the water, let's see what happens. Empty shell stand, no product. Put together a little brochure and a bit of a website, and stood there for 3.5 weeks. And I had loads of photos of the 3 tree houses I'd built for the 2 boys, different seasons, different angles to make it look as though I'd done lots of work, like we all do, setting up a new business. But I stood there for 3.5 weeks with no product on the stand, just talked to people that were passing, and came away from that show with 44 leads.
And how many of them turned out to be clients?
Half of those.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So did you panic?
Yeah. Broke out into a cold sweat.
22 clients.
And thought, my God, we're off. We're off. And so I had to just put it together, and that's what I did. And I brought into the fledgling business somebody who was a carpenter, who had those technical skills.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's right. And I could match that with my creative spirit. And we started putting it together. And just to finish this part of the story, we were back the following year, 12 months later, with the biggest main stand at the Ideal Home Show. In 12 months, we'd gone from being the cheapest, smallest stand in sort of Hall 3 out the back somewhere to being the main 60 square metre stand as you walk into the Ideal Home Show.
With a treehouse?
With 3 tree houses on the stand. And we had the structures. We had, staff and, a whole system. And so that was 12 months. Now, a lot's happened since then, and we've learnt all of the business lessons.
But your first 12 months, you were building a brochure and taking photographs of the tree houses that you had in your garden. You hadn't, that was the first sort of like evolving the business to be in a position to sell it.
Everything that came to us in that first year was from the first outing of the idea at the Ideal Home Show.
So do you remember your first client?
I do. Yeah, really favourably. It was wonderful. Wonderful. And I think it was Richmond or Kew. It was that part of London in somebody's back garden. And the spirit of that still remains to this day. I mean, I'm still not a carpenter. I'm still a creative spirit. I've learnt a lot about business, and I've taken the business through drive and passion and creativity to what it is now. But it's been a long journey. But I love being that creative spirit. It's still that same muscle that I had earlier in my life as a drummer. As a drummer, making the singer sound good. I learned that's how you got the gig next week. The singer would ask you back if you made them sound good, If you made the audience through how you play, you play with energy and commitment and conviction, and that would make the audience stand up and dance. So I run the business like a rock band.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on. Who's the lead singer then?
I'm still the drummer, I'm driving the groove.
You're doing the rhythm.
And the rhythm and just holding it all together and shaping what we do. As a drummer lifts a band from a verse into the chorus, drum fill, and you lift it and it sets the band into...
You shape it, don't you? You change the tone, you change the pace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you lift it, you lift the key, you lift the band, you take everybody with you. And so, I've sort of learned that, a band doesn't work if there's 4 bass players.
True.
There needs to be a bass player, there needs to be a guitarist, there needs to be a drummer, there needs to be a lead singer.